Welcome to another camera comparison video. First, let's quickly talk about the testing process. All of these pictures were taken on auto mode with AI enabled and auto HDR to make things fair. Of course, both of these two smartphones have Pro mode, so if you have the time to dial in for that perfect shot, then you can try Pro mode. Okay, if you end up liking this video, then please click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This OnePlus 8T and the OnePlus Nord are very similar in camera specifications. So I was really interested to see how does this comparison go, cause even OnePlus 8 Pro failed to beat Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra in my other camera comparison video. I also want to see if you can actually tell what are the real differences between these two. Yeah, I have taken more than 50 pictures within 2 days, and after doing an extensive test and looking at all the pictures side by side, there are definitely some differences which I will show you in this video. When it comes to daytime pictures, they look vastly different, and I'm not surprised to see so much variance when it comes to the white balance. But I'm really super surprised to see the difference in exposure. In some pictures, this issue is really so big that images looks totally different. Even at a glance, we can see the difference in temperature, and sometimes saturation level are also different. There are variances in sky color rendition, dynamic range sometimes goes back and forth, but just as expected, Mi 10 Ultra grabbed more details, processed more textures with plenty of sharpness and great colors. OnePlus 8T continued to slightly overexpose even in ultra-wide shots. Yes, this OnePlus 8T have the widest field of view among any OnePlus devices, but still not as wide as Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. In all of my camera comparison videos, I say a lot depends on personal preferences, and yes, this little extra exposure on OnePlus 8T makes images looks better in certain conditions with more pleasing white balance. But if you check carefully, then you can clearly see that along with highlights, OnePlus 8T increased contrast ratio, which makes the image very average. On the other hand, Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra kept the skin tone close to reality, continued to process more details in the shadows with higher dynamic range. Once in a while, this OnePlus 8T will show some magic, and yeah, this will produce a very nice, lucrative, attractive picture, but in most instances, Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra does produce the better image, and I don't think that you need to crop in to find the differences. Things are totally different once we start taking ultra-wide pictures in an indoor environment under artificial lights. Despite having a bigger ultra-wide sensor than OnePlus Nord, indoor performance of OnePlus 8T in difficult lighting condition is truly worse than its both younger brothers. I mean OnePlus Nord and OnePlus 8. Anyway, we have to remember that we are comparing this OnePlus 8T with one of the best camera smartphone, and Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra comes with a bigger sensor for ultra-wide lens. Xiaomi has came a long way in the ultra-wide camera department. Especially Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra stock camera improved a lot. Other than a bit of white balance and color temperature issue, everything is better on Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. I would say color grading, sharpness and level of saturation is way better on the images grabbed by Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. Let's check some indoor photos taken with the main sensors. OnePlus continued to use Sony IMX586 48 megapixel sensor as a main sensor, and beside OmniVision OV48C 48 megapixel sensor of Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, this straight got blown away. Color rendition, details in the shadows, texture processing, HDR, noise level and exposure. I think in every segment Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra is far better. I have not even expected that OnePlus 8T would beat Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, but I was expecting better result and performance from OnePlus 8T. Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra really did better in tricky situations under different light sources with different colors. But I cannot ignore that once in a while exposure of Mi 10 Ultra got tricked and contrast ratio along with ambience got unnecessarily increased. I really like this part cause colors and details are really very important to me. You cannot just add details and true to life colors when editing a picture. A few years ago, it was a trend of all Xiaomi smartphones to saturate colors and process less textures under artificial light or in a low light environment. But as I have mentioned earlier, things changed. Xiaomi stock camera really improved a lot, and with all the updates, this Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra is a way better camera smartphone than it sounds. After cropping in, you can see the differences clearly. Colors are perfectly produced by Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. It is not close to reality, it represents reality. Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra images are sharper, there are more details with less grains. Shadows and midtones are way better. Most importantly, there is consistency. It's not like one picture is better, another is worse. I think OnePlus 8T is a good smartphone with decent camera performance. I know some people would say it is the best, it is better, but besides Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra, I am sorry, performance doesn't look any better. Okay, it's time to switch to portrait mode. Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra can grab true 50mm portrait shots with its dedicated 2x lens. OnePlus 8T has to use its main sensor to grab the portrait shots, and yes, there is a 2MP depth sensor, which I really think is an unnecessary thing and a marketing gimmick. Edge detection is good on both, but of course it's better on Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra. Mi 10 Ultra also grabbed a lot more details and processed a lot of textures. Not only that, color grading and exposure on Mi 10 Ultra is processed with perfection. Yes, white balance jumps back and forth, but the difference on Mi 10 Ultra is minimum, and you wouldn't even notice it if you do not compare a lot of pictures side by side. Skin tone and details of these two smartphones totally belongs to two different leagues. Also, bokeh effect on Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra is lucrative cause it creates creamy bokeh with almost no crazy cutouts and artifacts at the edges. The separation line between the subject and the background is well balanced too. Okay, are you enjoying this video? Please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. Moving on to selfie camera, and there is a drastic difference in performance. Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra continues to reproduce photos with better color rendering and skin tone. But selfie photos produced by Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra got warm tone. I have mentioned this earlier in my other camera comparison videos. All OnePlus 8 series smartphones have this issue. When I am wearing a mask, it goes wild, fails to maintain correct exposure, and sometimes even the subject gets washed out. In these pictures, face of Samara looks like a ghost, and Mi 10 Ultra with better skin tone, more details and sharpness is clearly the better one in selfie photos. If you are subscribed to this channel, if you have watched my other camera comparison videos, then you may know that I try to shoot videos in the same place with all the smartphones to make a general performance graph. These video clips were recorded at 4K 30 frames per second, and I am impressed with the performance of OnePlus 8T. While most of the other smartphones failed to have good consistent exposure throughout the video at this place, other than the white balance issue, I would say OnePlus 8T performance is amazing. OnePlus has promised better stabilization. Yes, I can see very good stabilization without much of a difference between these two smartphones. I must mention that Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra has slightly better color rendition and saturation level. Now, these video clips were recorded at 1080p 30 frames per second, and OnePlus 8T again has the same white balance and saturation issue like the previous clip. Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra with more details, textures, better skin tone and colors, wider dynamic range. You can see it, right? Okay, Xiaomi Mi 10 Ultra is way better. I think a camera comparison between these two smartphones are waste of time, cause Mi 10 Ultra clearly belongs to the top league. What do you think? Please don't forget to make a comment in the comment section below. If you have liked this video, then please don't forget to click on the like button and subscribe to this channel.